We're going to now talk about one of the key aspects to give you a competitive edge at a listing appointment or bring on board a new management. And this is advice, experience and results. Now you may have heard the dialogue from the outside looking in, you'd be correct in assuming all real estate agents are pretty much the same. Interestingly, there are layers and layers of difference in the strategy and approach we have to doing business compared to our competitors. And they all add up to give you, and importantly your property, a competitive edge in the marketplace. That's what we want to do. When it all comes down to it, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when it all comes down to it, Mr. Landlord, there are really three essential ingredients we want to make sure we put into everything we do with you. And that is, we want to make sure we are delivering to you the absolute best advice, that you have a fantastic experience in terms of selling, leasing your property through us, with us. And importantly, we achieve an outstanding result for you. The result being the appropriate result that we're talking with that particular client at. And really, everything we do in our meeting together today is going to be about making sure we give you great advice, a great experience, and importantly, achieve an outstanding result for you. In fact, that's everything we do within our particular agency. That's the frame, that's the conversation that sets it up. Now, the reason I created this, guys, is to recognize you use this at the beginning of the meeting where you talk advice, experience, results. You say from the outside looking in, all real estate agents look pretty much the same, but there are layers and layers of difference in the strategy and approach we have to doing business compared to our competitors. Little body language move you might have noticed there. We have to doing business compared to our competitors. The competitors are down there. And they all add up to give you and your property a strategic advantage in the marketplace. When it all comes down to it, there are three essential ingredients we want to put in place. The right advice, a great experience, and importantly, an outstanding result. Opening frame in the conversation. Now, of course, it's not the first thing you say. You meet, you greet. You're now talking about the position as an agency, who we are as an agency. Now, the reason you put it in here is so at the end of the meeting, when you come to bring it to a close, you can actually say and use advice, experience, results again. This time you'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mr. Landlord, when we initially started our meeting together today, I talked about the three things we're really focused on delivering. Great advice, great experience, and importantly, an outstanding result. In terms of our meeting today, are you comfortable with the advice that we've actually given you? Yes. And the experience of doing business with us, do you feel comfortable with the experience and what we've talked about, how we're going to work together? Yes. And everything we put together from a strategy point of view, giving your property the best result so we can get going and get started with the sale of your property, with looking after the rental of your particular property. So we introduce it early so we can use it late in the process. The other time it works brilliantly well, team, is if you actually have it here when you're sharing a case study. So let's say you're walking through a case study. The recommendation, obviously we want a case study that would mirror the strategy and the recommendations we have for that particular client. And importantly, with the case study, we're going to say, here is the advice we actually provided this particular client. Here's the experience from their point of view. Maybe there's a video of them that talks about their experience of doing business with you. And you can also do a little twist on experience and say, here's the experience we brought to the table about understanding where that buyer was at to be able to negotiate the top dollar for that particular client. And then importantly, here's the result we actually achieved. And all of a sudden, you've done advice, experience, results here. You've brought it into a case study brilliantly well. Here's the advice, here's the experience, and here's the results. And finally, well, based on that, do you feel comfortable with the advice we've given you today? Yes. And in terms of us working together well during the campaign, absolutely, I feel great with the experience. And the strategy that the recommendations we put forward, giving your property the best chance to achieve a premium price, the best price in the market, yes. Well, let's go ahead and make it happen, shall we? A very, very simple frame, great dialogue, well and truly worth role-playing to get it internalised in such a way that you become absolutely brilliant at making it happen. So enjoy the discussion now, talking about how you can take this and apply it powerfully to win even more properties.